Okay, let's see this started. This will be my first time speaking on a video, so apologies if the audio is terrible. Mixture of a recovering chest infection and a crappy mic. But I know it's been a while since a lot of my long time actually since my older videos, so I thought I'd post one showing some of the more recent updates. A lot of the places I was working on I actually remade with a lot of new assets that was acquired. So a lot of these walls and things were all new, thanks to retextured a lot of them as well, thanks to some ambient occlusions and such, and just better quality. They look more like a 3D look to them instead of just plain flat, relying more on actual visual bumpiness as opposed to just lighting to add the illusion to it. But that's happened in a few locations. You will notice a lot of these I don't know if you'll see in the video with the resolution that a lot of the places have like these wee lines. That's just due to the parallax occlusion mapping that adds the bumpy view. In in game that is not visual. That's just like a little editor thing. In fact, if I start up here. Oh, actually, I forgot I'm in the menu. The menu is actually one of the things I've actually started working on to implement. Still has a way to go, as you see. Just a basic new game, load game, such. New game obviously will start in a new section. The doors will not be open. That's still all being technical added. I was testing the doors recently. It was a issue I had between switching levels, but doors would not stay open or closed, so I had to fix that. And the pickups and such, as you see here, that is also being all fixed from the menu. From a save file. In fact, if we start again and we go to load game, as you see, we are at the save point at the proper location. God, it's dark in here. And the doors are opens. You have a lot of people said no, they didn't like the wee light bulbs, but as you can see, the light bulbs are not present when you're in game. There is still quite a few placeholders and stuff in the game that I haven't fully changed and implemented yet. Got I built up a whole new system for switching between levels as well, and I've been testing that the last few weeks as well. And the old graveyard, my god, I've seen these locations so many times now, it's sickening. But anyway, I will show some of the more current locations. I believe in the excuse me, in the last video I was showing the Nupraptor's Retreat. One of my newer ones now has been the Repel dungeon. Get rid of Kane's Crypt. Ooh, all over the place here. Slow down the speed. So here's the Repel dungeon. This one hasn't been fully laid, so I'll put it unlit here. You can see there's the platform. Up here is where you will get the Repel spell, as many of the fans will know. Through here, all the wee doorways and entrances. These will be the little skull icons that fire the fireballs. Some of them fire fireballs. These ones here will fire the arrows all along the length here. The enemies will be added much later. I have not implemented any kind of really enemies yet because I'm still deciding on what kind of systems for that. In fact, I recently had a post from someone who suggested that during times when you're killing enemies, but in the stun phase, we could maybe do a little execution kill instead of just a simple feeding. You could either feed them or do some little execution kills, beheadings or stabbings and whatnot now, which I kind of like the idea of. So I might look at implementing that as well. And these two rooms I actually just added today because I actually got, thanks to a guide that someone helped posted me on the Blood Omen game, I actually forgot these two rooms, so I had to make those today. What other locations have I made up recently? This was the one I've been posting a lot of lately. The Bone Dungeon. As you can see, we start in here. I think we can maybe give some light in this one. Yeah, we have see. Once again, all these little wee light bulbs will all disappear in game. Once you're in the level, they completely disappear. They're just like little placeholders, so I can be able to grab lights, move them around, change their location. Save system. Huge props to the Blood Omnicide developers who actually gave me this model and the textures for it. It was a major help for my work with the original one was absolutely terrible. I could not texture it right at all. I can see, do I still have the old one? That was my work with the old one. The textures were different, but oh my god, it was awful. But thankfully for this one, huge props to the Omnicide ones. Extremely sorry to hear their project had finished. And here we are in the Bone Armor Dungeons. As you know, you come through here, you cut the switch, we'll open this door here, we come through here. Little candlestick with the cobwebs. Started adding some wee little improvisations and such, you know, little prisoners being chained up and left and such. The chains, I started adding some wee smaller details last night. I don't usually do that in most levels, but I wanted to have a little show of things. Big details, some big bones hanging from there, where we have our prisoners along here. The old "Help me, kind sir." How many of us were all sick of hearing that? I was actually thinking I might take some of the sound effects from some of the other games, you know, to add to those prisoners. I know it's like Blood Omen 2 had a lot of wee volumes for them kind of prisoners as well. All their screaming and crying and the "please help me's" and such. So a lot of that might actually help. I know this might seem a little bit brighter than usual, but that will all be changed to post-processing and such. We're still very early days. The spikes of the walls, they will come in and out. Little blood splatter here and there. Some of the more spikes, and these floor spikes are an absolute nightmare every time I have to work on them. Oh god. Practically each one has to be put down individually. Some of them I've connected into groups just to make things a little quicker. And as you see, we just come through the doors and the walls here, adding more props and details as I go along. Some of it still has to be fixed. This was a personally favourite room. It's got quite a few likes on the on my website that I just made on Facebook, and I'm quite pleased with that. I like the detail. Originally, it was just going to go, you know, in the original game, it was just a flat surface in here that had just, you know, like a wee pit of skulls. Whereas I thought maybe it might be better. It was kind of like a wee rediscovered mass grave type of thing just onto the floor. And of course, you have your bone armor, lower forms, and all that kind of shit. Some little props and webbing. And then down. I always wanted to give the idea that you were going down low into these dungeons, because I never liked in the original game where you would come out a door that was on the opposite side of a building, then you would go outside. There was no door on the outside of where you just came from, so it was all very. So I tried to keep a bit of continuity, and also some doors are in opposite direct placements to where they used to be in the original game, just to give it a more realistic feeling. The biggest example of that would actually be in this map itself. Again, apologies for the gulping and gravelly voice. Just getting over a chest infection. We go through here. See, originally in the original game, this door would be on this side, and then the character would they would come out. Let's see, in Corhagen. Let's see if I can find the right place. Once they came out that door, nighttime. Speed up the camera again. We'll zoom over here. was down in here. Yes, this was a house. Once you're originally in the original game, your character would go through the door on the opposite wall, and then they would come out this door. There would be a door here. They would walk out here, through all the bodies, open the barrels and such. Whereas I decided to put the door on this side, simply because in the original game, once you came out the door on that side of the wall, you came out here and you started walking up this path to the next location. Then where the fuck was the door? So I changed a few things over there. I've placed some barrels and such here as blockades because I haven't built up any kind of really assets yet for the mass pile of plague-ridden bodies that basically littered Copenhagen. As we all know, it was in the plague had hit this location in the game. Then we come through. As you see, there's a lot of big locations in the town here. Still working on it. Added fences, blockades. This, of course, leads to the. These are the entranceways of the Repel dungeon. Your doorways, 3 doors, such and such into there. Then this one here leads to the church that leads to the Bone dungeon. See, we have any lighting in here? No, I haven't added any lighting in here yet. Like I said, a lot of things still to be worked on. And then we go through further on up along the pathway. A lot of it looks very flat because, like I said, I've took away a lot of the lighting because there's still a lot to be done in many of the levels. I haven't really added all the props and the assets and such. Like, so lighting is something I'm really going to leave to last. Once you bake the lighting, then it makes it a lot easier once everything's in place. And of course your back beacons. I'm thinking of having like in the background of where you can slightly see maybe Malik's Bastion. I haven't built that yet. Maybe just further back around, just around somewhere in that area there. Like in the original game, he was just slightly to the southeast. So that's the Copenhagen location as well. A lot of the houses here still have to be. All the houses are still basically completely empty. I haven't added any kind of props, bedding, the breakable barrels and such, but a lot of the pickups, you have your flays, your implodes and all that kind of carry on. Has there been any other locations? The main menu, I've shown that it's nothing special yet until I've completely finished it, and it was just basically a way of working out a saving system. I was fixing up the whole save the game, make sure everything loads properly as it, from where you started off and where you finished, and you have all the right items. Netcom new, Netcom that new one was just a wee. I was testing the idea of actually using the actual what do you call it, the mesh. Words left me there for a second. So, and in the game you could use either landscapes or meshes. And originally I was thinking of maybe using just the mesh. Take away the fog. Using just the mesh to actually, as a way of paint the mesh, and just use it. Whereas landscape is more reliable for detailed textures and such on landscape, so that one's really not important. Any other locations here? Stench and Crow. Oh god, choking. As we go through the little town of Stench and Crow, your little inns and huts. I did implement some of the things in here. There's kind of lighting, a little bit of lighting, but it hasn't fully properly implemented really yet. This was the second inn. In here, many people remember will be the little the room with all the dead prisoners and such, and all blood on the walls will be and such. We found out the prostitutes were actually killing the people I brought into the thing. In here, them little lines are just wee guide editorial lines. I'll show in there for me. You move the chair, opens up the portal to the forges. The forges will be in the game. Just haven't made them up at all yet. plan to just make it like one or two and change up the story. This there will be implementations of them, so they will be in the game. I've basically tried to add as many of the tried to keep it as close to the original as it possibly could in terms of locations of things and items and a lot of the textures. Some of them obviously have had to be changed because many of the original ones would have been, more stylized cartoon look. Once again, this is another one of the bad beacons, which again, huge props to the Omnicide crowd for giving me the assets to that and the textures. I then took the textures and I upscaled them a little bit with a bit of the machine learning and made them a little more crisp, which are huge. They're great fun to have. Then of course there's the bloody deed of my murder took place in this in this town here. I recently redone a lot of this, or a lot of the. This was reworked recently as well, where I've still to change up a lot of these textures, and all these won't be the finalized textures and such. They'll still to be all worked out. Added to be more like in all this big board looking things will not be the finalized textures. And this was the inn. I'm still once again lighting will improve later on. I actually added then. I don't even know if it was in the original game or whether it was in the Omnicide version of the game. I'm not too sure whether it had the wee upstairs place you'd explore. Yes, the textures in that are terrible. Got the little bits of furniture and things. Like I said, I've still a lot to implement. Ooh, a floating candle. I'll fix that. Well, we do know there is ghosts in the game, so some of the other huts and houses. But that was one of the older locations. I think that's been shown a few times. Have I showed up Vassabund? There's the, as we all know, the place that leads to Nutraptor. That there will lead to a little fog blockade I'm still working on. Huts, more huts. I've actually got some recently new tents, so I will be changing these. I know it looks a bit flat right now because I've took away the flat lighting just so as we can see everything a bit more clear without all the shadows and such. Runes for blocking. Statue Chrono. I think that's pretty much all the newer locations. Like I said, recently I've been doing more of fixing a lot of the older ones and repairing a lot of the problems I've been having recently with saving and switching levels, pickups and all to stay destroyed once you pick them up. Energy Temple. Once again, the Energy Temple then. Once we come in here, you will get your the energy bolt. You'll have your enemies up here, and then of course the gypsy ones around down the bottom. Up here you get your spells, orbs, your little spike pits. It's all very very similar. Basically, I've tried to keep as close to the original as I can, even right down to Canes of Texas and the 3 basic swipes and such, and all. And your enemies have the single, some have two swipes. A lot of that is all being implemented. Started working on some of the enemies, but obviously I'm still deciding a lot all the basics of the combat. Even the combat system is still being really worked on. There's our little Malik. I was actually quite pleased with him. He was not easy. Took a bit of time, but came out pretty well, I think. At He's without breaking the game, he's got pretty much good amount of detail. Might tweak him up a little more, maybe add a wee bit more detail to the textures and such later on, but for now, he's pretty good. And I think that was pretty much all the locations. Not going. Yep, classic pillars. My spooky aerial there is still a lot to be worked on. But as you can see, there's quite a few maps being worked on. I've pretty much got as far as the Bone Temple. I'm about to start Malik's Bastion and the Inspire Hit dungeons soon. So they'll be added. I'll start giving more details on them as well. So that will be all for now. Thank you. Goodbye. Like and subscribe, I suppose. Cheerio.